Welcome back to Token. Woo! I know y'all missed us.
Hey,
Both of us are. I'm in Bob's Burgers. And Steven, where are you?
I'm in Springfield outside the Simpsons house.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Holidays, life, blah, blah, blue. But we're back.
Blah, blah, bloop.
We're back. Okay, Steven, what is Token?
Oh, man. Token is a place where you most decidedly should look up as soon as people say, look out for that rock.
What? Token is a place you should look. Oh, I'm so slow. We're getting back in the groove. I'm getting in the groove.
Yeah, we get in the groove.
We're getting back in the groove.
Been best. But you know, the tokens.
It's good. How was your holidays?
Good. Feels like it went by quick, but it was good. Full of love and laughter and a lot of trash talk from the family. How was yours?
It was chill. It was relaxed. We just did the thing. Thanksgiving, we cooked a lot. Christmas, not so much. We hung out. Everything was good. New Year, it's all chill. Nothing to write home about. I hope everyone is being safe, being healthy, staying away from the COVID.
I did.
Yeah. I got the COVID, but I'm okay. So we're all good. I don't have it anymore. Well, no, I do still have it. But I know I'm not as sick as I was anymore. I'm on the ups and ups. Today's my first really good day.
Good.
Yeah. So it's good. So we're gonna jump in it. So this week we did Don't Look Up. Don't Look Up just came out. It came out Christmas, right? That's when I saw it first.
So yeah.
Yeah, it came out Christmas. So Steven, what is Don't Look Up?
It's a newish film from Adam McKay. And it's a satire, a heavily satirical take on like an asteroid drama, right? Where you have basically an N.E.O, which is near Earth object, is going to hit the planet within 6 months, and a handful of scientists are trying to alert the world, who does not really seem to believe them or care because nobody takes anything seriously, and they don't believe in science anymore. So politicians, corporatists are trying to make money off of it. Politicians are trying to win votes off of it, and nobody's actually taking the threat that a asteroid is looming serious, except for this core group of people. The way I pitched it is basically Seeking a Friend for the End of the World meets Idiocracy.
Ooh, I haven't seen that. I have to check that out. But I know both of those. I've seen Idiocracy. I don't think I've seen Seeking a Friend. I might have seen it. Steve Carell's in that, right? With
and Keira Knightley. I love Seeking a Friend. It's a really good. If you are mad at this movie, watch Seeking a Friend, and it will make you'll enjoy that one better.
I don't get why people were so. I personally, okay, if I had to do my thing 1 to 10, I would give this movie like a 7.
Rewatching it just for this one, I mean, it still made me laugh even more. And there were other parts that I didn't catch on before. So honestly, I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10. Like, it's people, I can see why people are angry, because the first probably 10, 15 minutes are very serious. And so you think you're in for a serious movie, but you're not. It's wholly satirical. Everything is satire in it. And once you realize that, I think it makes it more enjoyable. But I think you're just as frustrated as the scientists are. So I think that's why people end up not liking it, because the characters, I think Darren said that they, shouts to Griff. I think Darren said that he said that they're just horrible people in here. And I'm like, they are horrible people, but they're supposed to be mirrored off the real people in the real world, right?
Oh, and they were.
Especially in the administration, the president administration. But I think once you acknowledge that it's satire, you can laugh at how horrible these idiots are while still empathizing with the people that are trying to make things right,
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was really funny. I think Jonah Hill is so good. He's so funny.
He's such an ass.
He is, but he's so good at it.
He is. He's great at it.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was really good. So let's talk about the Black folks in here. We got my man Tyler Perry. He is playing. I was looking up. Tyler Perry plays basically a Good Morning America. He's like your what's homeboy? What's the black guy? Michael Strahan. It's like a
Strahan,
Michael Strahan who does the morning. His character is Jack Brimmer.
a
I
show
can't
called The
remember
Daily Rip.
the Daily Rip. Oh my gosh, which is
Yeah,
totally a
yeah.
play on fart. Um, and then we have the other doctor that's like been working at NASA for 15 years, Dr. Teddy Oglethorpe. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, Oglethorp. Yeah.
Everyone was messing it up, and I felt so bad that I was about to mess up. And then our last black character that like I thought he was gonna be in it so much more, and he wasn't, but it's totally fine. Was my boy Kid Cudi.
Cudi,
Cudi
aka
had
who plays DJ Cello.
yes, that's what DJ Cello. I love
Man,
him. He's such a good actor though, so I thought he was gonna have more, but shout out, he does have a movie coming out where he plays like a porn star in a horror film.
what? I
You
didn't
haven't
hear
heard of
about
this?
that. No, I
It's a
have
movie
not.
called like X, I think. And he plays it's like a porn him and like these porn stars in the 70s go to this house to like shoot a porn and then it goes like horror movie. It looks
So
like Texas Chainsaw Massacre-ish.
it doesn't look like a black comedy though. Is it look
Might be.
like a serious horror? I hope it's a black comedy. It sounds like a black comedy premise. If it's just a straight horror, it sounds like a missed opportunity because like the cheerleader is a black comedy, right? Or the babysitter, not cheerleader, the
Yeah,
babysitter,
I
right?
like that movie.
And that one was really fun.
That was good. That's real campy.
Yeah, it is, but it knows it, right? And that one was fun. So if it's something like that, I'd be all about it.
I have no idea now, but I know that it's called X. I don't know what the tone is going to be in it. I wouldn't be mad if it's like straight like horror if it's like done really well. Anyway, let's get back to this. So those are the three black characters. So I couldn't put my finger on like why I still felt like black characters weren't really represented in this film. And I think this happens because someone could look at this and be like, oh, okay, we have some diversity. We have like three kind of black actors in the main cast. We have black actors like or diversity sprinkled in other parts. We have an Asian woman, we have an Indian man, we have like, other people sprinkled in. But I think what it is that there is no depth to the black characters. They're all kind of one-sided and compared to the main white characters, right? So like Leonardo DiCaprio is a main character. We get him, we get his backstory, right? We get then with homegirl
J Law, Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence, we get her decision making, we follow her outside of like the main thing, and we get her backstory. So I think that's what's missing. I think that's what it is. I think that Kid Cudi's character was just like he had like a little bit. Him and Ariana Grande had more, but he was playing
Yeah,
like her boyfriend. But he just had like two bits.
yeah.
Um, Tyler Perry, he was the other news anchor, but even him compared to the female news anchor played by Kate Blanchett, she had a whole storyline outside of just being the news anchor. Like she was in this like pseudo affair with Leonardo DiCaprio's character. Then she gives some of her backstory. Like we go a little bit more in depth in her, but then in
Yeah.
Tyler Perry's story, we only encounter him. He's great in it. Tyler Perry, I think, is great in everything. I really do. Like I think he's just a natural, and I think he's really funny and great. Um, he has his part, but he's just playing the news anchor. Like that's his only.
Yeah, you probably get the least about him from than anybody else there.
Yeah, you just meet him when you meet him at the news thing, and that's it. And then
Yeah.
with the doctor's character, you only meet him. He's only like kind of one dimensional in the sense of you just encounter him when they're talking about like the the asteroid and stuff. Like he's just the
So
doctor, but he
I
doesn't
will say
more.
Oglethorpe, the doctor, yeah, you see him right off the top, right? You do see him the whole movie.
Right.
You don't get much on his background at all, but he is given permission to be like as black as you can be for a scientist. Right? I'll give him that. You don't get much about where he's from or anything like that, though. But he does. He does have a few scenes where it's very clear he knows he's a black man, like in
He's
this world.
great. I thought he was really good. He kind of reminds me of Don Cheadle, and I'm not even just saying this because like they're both chocolate men. I'm saying it
And the
because
hair.
yeah, I'm saying it because like Don Cheadle is very cool and laid back,
Yeah.
and he felt
Yeah.
that way. Like
Yeah, he had that vibe, especially given how stressed the lead two characters were. He
Yeah.
was always way more calm and cool.
He's more calm compared to them. And the reason why I went Don Cheadle is because Don Cheadle's like that. Like Don Cheadle can like be inserted in any situation and he's like cool and like he has like a natural personality and natural charm. And I felt like this guy was the same way. I haven't really seen him in other stuff. That doesn't mean he's not in it. I just didn't recognize him.
He's actually been in a lot. You didn't. I'm surprised you didn't recognize. I think the hair, the wig they had him in again with the little widow's peak. I
Oh
think
my
that throws
gosh,
you for a
you
loop.
think it's a wig?
It could have grown out. The widow's peak is definitely fake because everything I've seen him in before, I've never seen him with the widow's peak.
Maybe he was
But
cutting
he's
it
in a
off.
lot of stuff, right?
Some
Maybe
people
he
with
is,
widow peak
but
they chop
it
them
just
off.
didn't. It just didn't look real to him. It just didn't look real to me. Like it looked blatantly, like purposefully fake. But it made it more entertaining to me. So I don't know. But if he's cutting it off, he's cutting it off every other time. He he's been in a good amount of stuff. Like one of the actors you may not know his name, but you'd recognize his face, right? He's been in Mudbound and Stranger Things and Daredevil. He was in Just Mercy with Jamie Foxx and Michael B. He's in Last Black Man in San Francisco. He's the father.
Wow.
Um,
I'm looking at his IMDb and I remember him as one of the cops in Stranger Things.
yeah. Like I like him. He's taking a pretty good variety of roles too. I like him a lot.
And he was cool. Like I liked him in this. I never like seen him as like the first and the things that I've seen of him, he's always kind of been like a side character. But like once you said that, I was like, I remember him. He always has been, I remember Stranger Things, he was chill and like had like humorous parts. He was funny in it. He's funny in this. Like I think he's someone who's like naturally funny.
He is. He's
He's
very
who
funny.
I think who I wish had better funny charm and they don't, and I feel for them is what's his name? Anthony, who plays Falcon.
Oh, Anthony Mackie.
I don't think his not to say he's
Oh,
not funny, but Anthony Mackie's humor doesn't come off on screen for me. That's just a side note.
interesting. So he doesn't make you laugh right off the bat with the stuff that he says, what you're saying, or the way he acts.
No, he doesn't no. Anyway, but that's Anthony. That's his problem. So I think he is funny. I just think it's not it doesn't always like pierce through. Anyway, back to Don't Look Up.
I like Anthony. I think it really depends on the role he takes. I'm trying to remember if he's had any like funny character roles other than I don't know.
No,
I have to
no.
go back.
You know what? He did the Christmas movie with um The Night Before Christmas. 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. That was a comedy one. He's in that with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's in that with my boy who always makes me laugh. Um
Jason
oh,
Bateman,
Pineapple Express. Nope. He wrote Pineapple Express.
Seth
Um
Rogen.
yes, Rogen's in it.
It's a comedy.
Qua
Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about. I don't think I've seen it, but I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't remember a lot of people actually seeing it, even though I think like the three of them together was like a really good cast and it's like a funny movie, but whatever. I digress. So yeah, I think that was missing because I couldn't put my finger on it because I was like, oh, there's a lot of black characters. I was like, but what's missing? And I was like, they don't go in a depth into any of the characters. Like they're there assisting the stories of the white mains, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that happens more so than not in these movies. It's like they'll be like, well, we'll have like a black character as like one of the yeah, but you always have them like assisting one of the main characters, the white character's story, instead of like them living out their own side story or like them moving the action more
Yeah.
so, you know?
Well, remember when they announced the cast, we both messaged each other like, hey, what's up with the list, right? Remember that? And we're both
Or
like, where's all the for this movie for Don't Look Up? When they announced the cast, we were like, where's all the black folks,
that
right?
wasn't me. That was someone else.
Was it really?
Mhm.
I don't know who else. Who else?
I texted you about a different cast thing. I texted you about that Christopher Nolan movie.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of then. I'm thinking of that one, not this one. Okay,
Yeah.
well,
Christopher Nolan laid out his like he had like 10 amazing actors and not all of them were white.
that's the one. That's what I'm thinking of. Okay,
Oh,
that's my bad.
damn, Chris.
That's. I mean, I don't even know what to say right now.
Okay.
Like we've already gone over this with the Tenet episode, but
Yeah. But Chris didn't even try.
No, he didn't try at all.
He didn't even
Unless it's
try.
some, like not at all.
He never tries. It's so disappointing because he's such a great filmmaker. It's just like,
Yeah.
God. Anyway, but I thought like, okay, so fall like even when I went back, like I did a rewatch, right, of just the parts of the black folks. And like I was watching his scenes and I'm like, there's not much like happening for him other than just being a part of like the action of
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
being in the room, you know?
yeah.
But there wasn't a lot to his story. It was disappointing.
It would have been interesting to get to know his backstory because there's like when they start arresting everybody and they arrest him and he's getting his coffee, he like puts it down and he's like, look, he's like, he's like, just be cool. Look, just
Yeah.
know, he's like, I'm just a man who's got more skin pigmentation than you. Your ancestors migrated to modern Europe earlier than mine, and they developed lighter skin. Like he's like giving them like the scientific answer to not beat his black ass because from where they come from. Like I love that shit. I was like, yeah, this is great.
I wonder
I
if
had to
they wrote
rewind it when
that
I
or
first
if
saw
they
it.
like let him do that.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Or when like because he very much they let him, I guess, be who he is. Because when when they're meeting at when they met with him at the White House and like they're waiting with Ariana Grande and stuff, and he's like, oh, or and he gets the news on like on his phone, he's like, oh, DJ Chell and Riley Mina broke up. That's too bad, you know. And then, but then when they tell him not to say anything, he's like, we're gonna leak it. They're like, we're gonna leak it. He's like, hell yeah, we're gonna leak it. I'm like, okay, so they're letting him have like his attitude, right?
Yeah. He
Or
was great.
and then he has a little plan, and he's like, good, y'all do this. I'll reach out to the scientific community on the down low. Like, we're gonna do this, and that, right? They definitely let him be who he needed to be, I think, within that character, which was actually really good. It was entertaining.
Mhm.
Um,
I think the fix is like because the black characters are obviously cast in this, but I think it's like we want y'all to cast this as like a black female playing the Jennifer Lawrence role. Like someone who
mhm.
actually has agency, who's actually moving story to be in one of the lead roles.
Yeah, moving story, exactly.
And his character doesn't move story. The moving story characters is the those two are the biggest like obviously story movers within it. But even like yeah, I thought he was like I thought he was just there. You know, he was great, but he was just kind of there. He's like the third wheel of like the scientists, you know? So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
disappointing. So yeah,
basically.
because people were talking about, and I think one of the big things people were talking about is like, you know, a movie like this where it's in the field of science, you guys, I guess they were mad that like that representation wasn't there even more of like the scientists in the room being black or something. I don't know if I'm completely honest because when I saw the film, I was like, oh, he's there. But I think it's like this unspoken like y'all have us in the room, but y'all don't have us as like agency. Y'all don't have us as like the mind, the game changer within the room. And I think that's what we're not feeling. And that's why we're like, it's just lacking.
Yeah,
Oh.
and it's interesting because they had like there was a black editor at the New York Herald or whatever, right? Their version of the New York Times. I think there were some Indian students on the initial committee at the very start, I think, but right, but you don't see them ever again. It's interesting because his character is like at a high position, right? He's the head of the Planetary Defense Coordination Office at NASA, right? So he's like the first person they call. Um, so it's interesting, or they actually call the Dr. Jocelyn or whatever, the White House chief scientist, science officer, whatever they call her, and then she calls him, right? And so he's in a very high up position, but his character doesn't really play a lead role, right? He's still a backup role, which is because it's Leo's uh self-effacing like character and J Law's like take no shit character.
She was great. Everyone was good. She's really
Yeah.
funny and believable. I was surprised that they had Timothy come so late in the movie, like an hour in. You would think like, because he said
Yeah.
the name, you would think, well, I mean, I guess Kid Cudi got like 2 minutes, and I was like, oh, I think he's in it all. He wasn't.
Yeah. No, I mean, they packed it full of names. Tyler Perry's a huge name too, right? And it's secondary characters. So like, I mean, I get it. You're gonna have lead actors and stuff, but and Timothy had an interesting role, being this like anti-establishment skater punk with like a heavy Christian background, right?
I feel that, yo. Like my vibe. I feel like
I
against
do
the
too,
system,
actually.
but I've been like, man, I love some Jesus. His prayer, listen, his prayer at the table at the end, it made me cry. And I was like, man, that prayer was like really good.
It was real. It was real. It did
It
good.
was
Even Oglethorp was like, he's like, what's he tell him? He goes, wow, you got used. He says, you's got some church game. Like he flipped into straight like the hood with that, straight as an old school childhood at least. Like so it was a good prayer.
It was because normally their
Actually
prayers
very
be
surprised.
whack in movies. I'd be like, who wrote this prayer? This don't sound nothing like a real prayer. Like I was watching I went and I saw Journal of Jordan. Is that what it's called? Letter
Yeah, yeah. The
Journal of
journal. Yeah.
something like that. And there was a scene and the guys are it was before like a really dramatic scene and the guys are in Iraq and they're in their trucks and they're driving and a guy's like praying and he goes, Father, Son, Jesus. And I was like, that's not how that goes. He said
Father, Son, Jesus.
he said Father, Son, Jesus.
And that's a movie, black folks, right? That's a black character.
Yes. And I thought to myself, Denzel.
Wait, Denzel's in it?
Denzel's the director.
Oh, he is? Oh, I did not know that. I did not
Steven,
realize that.
they
Either
said
way,
Father, Son, Jesus.
maybe the AD was around for that scene and Denzel was busy doing something else.
I said,
Father, Son, Jesus.
what in the the non-Trinity? As many times as people, I couldn't believe it. I was like, as many times as people say Father, Son, Holy Spirit. That's
Mm-hmm.
and that obviously was like what he was like saying. And he goes, Father, Son, Jesus. And I go, and it wasn't like a funny scene. And the character wasn't like established to be like an idiot or anything like that. And I just couldn't. I said, this is a movie with black folks in it. Didn't nobody say nothing?
I mean, does I'm a, you streamed it, right? Obviously.
No, I went and I saw it. I saw it at the place where I got COVID. That's when I saw it. It was the night I got COVID.
Oh, that's when you saw it?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So it's a private screening or what?
Hmm.
Oh, okay. Because I still haven't been to that theater either, or
Nice.
myself. So I've heard. But
I'm
yeah,
trying to find, I'm looking at my phone, trying to
definitely. Yeah.
find the stuff that they said about the diversity, and I can't find it because I wish I could like
Well,
look
I
at.
think from what I remember reading, it was a few headlines, and it was essentially about the fact that with such a world, an ELE extinction level event, right, with such a world affecting situation, that like there would be multiple people of color involved in every aspect of the story, right? Because it would affect the entire world and just not these white
Yes.
states. I think that's what I remember seeing.
And I didn't see no black countries.
No, they would show shots. They showed like I remember a Buddha or statue or something in Tibet. They showed like the Native American on top of the mountain doing the dance,
Yeah.
the ritual dance. They showed like animals, and they showed people in a lot of different like what was clear foreign countries, like crowded around TVs and cafes, but it would be places like the Middle East and stuff because that's who the characters look. But
Mhm.
yeah, I don't remember seeing any. Maybe it just flashed too quick. I don't remember seeing any. But yeah,
Question.
you get input.
Did you did you feel like watching this? if all the black people who were in it weren't in it, would it have made a difference to the story? Meaning, like, did their blackness have any effect on the story?
Oh no. If I was trying to think, their characters were just swapped with other actors, then no, it wouldn't have made a difference. But if they had actually, yeah, no.
No, I think it's kind of, it's not the laziest diversity, but it's like I just think the thing is like we want to be included in the roles within the story that are being explored, that are making decisions, that are having agency. We don't
Yeah.
want to be like the third wheel character all the time, you know?
No, yeah, exactly. And I'm
And
looking
like,
at the poster.
yeah. Oh, is anyone black even on the poster?
No, well, Rob Morgan is, but he's the only one. So well, him and Tyler Perry's in the very top corner where the D is, but the bulk of the poster is the words UP up. And like Rob Morgan in the very bottom corner, you barely can make out Tyler Perry.
I mean, but that's a white looking poster. And I think it's actually an accurate representation of the film. I thought the film was great. I just think like I get like them, it's just like it's still lazy diversity if we're not included within the story making decisions and things like that. It's we're still being third wheel. We're still not being the leads, you know? And sometimes it's like we don't need, I don't know, I just think there's this whole idea that like we need white cast, mainly white cast for films to be still important or for films to be like great. But I mean, I think the problem is also behind the scenes, right? Like you're everyone that you have working on the film. We've talked about this because we talk about how like Spike Lee does great diversity, but Spike Lee is a black man, you know?
Mhm.
And the majority of these films, the makers, the writers, the things behind it are white people. And if your viewpoint isn't one where you think that diversity is needed or you don't understand what diversity actually means because you live in a white world, you know,
Mhm.
and for you diversity could be one black person, you're like, man, this place is diverse. Like I was having a conversation with someone recently and he was talking about moving to Austin, and I was like, Austin's not really diverse. I was like, but maybe for you it will be,
Yeah,
you know?
if he's coming from Vidor, Texas,
Yeah.
or
Or he's not someone that's black, right? So like
yeah.
he for him,
Oh, then yeah.
yeah, he's not someone that's black. So for him to come to a place like here where you're not black, you're from a place where there isn't any black people there at all, this will feel diverse to you. But like for someone like people of color, these places aren't actually diverse to us because
No,
we're hugely the minority.
yeah. And you being of that minority, you instantly recognize it, but not being of the minority and seeing a couple minorities, you may think, oh, this is diverse, especially if you're coming from a place that has zero representation.
Oh yeah.
But then if they go to places like Houston or shit, God forbid, New York, they have their minds blown, right?
Mhm. Yeah. So I don't really have much for this movie. And it's funny, I was like, oh, this movie is really long. We're gonna have a lot. And I was like, nope, no, we don't. We don't.
Well, I mean, in terms of tokenism and the characters, there's not a lot to go off of, but there were just enough that I figured we'd have something to say. The story itself is, it's a metaphor for climate change, right? And
Yeah.
how we've got all the science and facts in front of us, but people still bury their heads in the sand and pretend that it doesn't exist, right? Uh, so I think the story itself is definitely one that needs to be told. It has been told before, but this is a fascinating way to do it. I think it's an entertaining way to do it. But having uh, showing more of the diversity of characters in the world, uh, especially a place like America where you're going to have very outspoken people from these other cultures wanting their say, like with a situation like a earth-ending event like this. I think that would make it even more powerful.
No, I agree. I agree. I thought the movie was good still. I just think it's just lacking in those areas. But like all these things can exist at the same time. So
Yeah,
other than
exactly.
that, to wrap it up, I do want to say, is there anything, and I think we've done this before, but we haven't done this in a while. Is there anything that you would recommend for people to see that you're watching right now?
Oh boy, that I'm watching right now.
Well, you don't have to be watching right now, but if you're like, if there's something I could send people off with,
So
like, go see this.
well, seeing this, like I said at the top, I definitely would recommend Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. It has some diverse characters in it, but the lead two characters are white, as it's par for the course for most of these movies. And actually a black led disaster film. Does that exist? Other than what Morgan Freeman and Deep Impact?
Oh, I love Deep
Impact.
Right. So good.
Well,
Deep Impact is the emotional version of Armageddon, the more serious and emotional version.
Yeah. But I actually don't know if there's any black led disaster films. Let me think about that. If y'all have any, let us know. But I would still recommend Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. It's one of my favorite movies. It is emotional, it's funny, and it's philosophical. And it is basically the same story, but a very different take on it. Uh, I'm trying to think of what else I would recommend based off of this. Again, Idiocracy, which is Mike Judge, which is a lot of satire and parody, and that was shot in like 2000, 2002 or something.
That was funny.
And basically, during the entire past 4 years, people have compared or like the entire American way of life to that movie. But those would be my two recommendations for based off of this. But otherwise, yeah, I've been watching Yellow Jackets, which is really great. I'd recommend everybody see that. And there's got a lot going on in that story. And you know what? I'm trying to recommend more people see too, which is now that Insecure is over, I'm telling everybody to watch Harlem on Amazon Prime, which is one of the executive producers, Amy Aniobi. She created that show, and it stars Megan Good and a handful of other actors that are basically it's a different take on Insecure, kind of.
I have to check it out. So so another one I recommend that I think is like funny and quirky that I watched the first season of it. I know there's other seasons. There's a show called Bigger that's actually on BET, and I think they're actually on their last season. I think they got canceled, but I remember I really enjoyed like the tone and the comedy of it. Like I thought it was really funny.
Bigger.
It's called Bigger.
I'm trying to remember. It sounds so familiar.
It's on BET. It's worth checking out. It's really funny. The comedy kind of gives me a little bit of like the Mindy Project. Like you ever watch the Mindy Project? Like
Oh yeah, I love Mindy Project.
Yeah. And it the humor was like it reminded me in the vein of that. And it's like I just thought the chemistry between the actors and that's a show I really like. This is I recommend everyone to go see Scream. I think it's Scream 5 now. I haven't seen it yet, but now that I'm getting over COVID and I have this like 90-day window, I'm like, what am I going to do with my COVID window? I'm going to go to the movies and I'm going to see and not be so in my head and scared. Well, scared because I'm scared of getting COVID, but now I'll be like, I'll just be scared. So go see Scream 4. I love that franchise. So I'm always like pushing people to go see it and support it. I don't have any like end of the world shows or anything like that. Something that actually came back into my brain that I'm like, if you haven't seen this yet, go see it. I May Destroy You. We've talked about that before, but I want to rewatch the series. And that's thinking about I May Destroy. It's on HBO.
I thought it was Netflix. That's HBO.
You haven't seen it?
No, is that the one with
Michelle Cole? Is it Michelle Cole? Is that how you say her name?
Oh, that's no, I have seen that. That's Michaela Cole.
Michaela Cole, sorry. Okay.
Yeah. I saw that. I saw that last year.
Steven, I was about to choke you.
Yeah, that one's a trip. She said it was inspired by an actual like rape that happened to her when she was drugged and stuff in real life, which is wild.
Yeah, it's great. I've been thinking about that series again because of just the nuance of it, and also because talking about Euphoria, thinking about like I May Destroy You and some like I think Euphoria tackles very deep ideas, and I think I May Destroy You tackles ideas in a new way, specifically with talks about sexual assault, consent, like our sexual habits. Very good, but yeah.
Yeah, it does. It's a good show. It's not perfect, but it's a really good show.
What's not perfect?
I May Destroy You.
I disagree. I disagree. I'll say it's perfect. I think it's more perfection than Euphoria, and I love Euphoria.
We'll have to go through it. There's plot stuff I think doesn't work on certain occasions, but it's a good show. Look at her face.
Okay, where can they find us?
You can find us all over the World Wide Web on Insta at Token Blacks in Cinema on YouTube, at the same on Facebook, at the same on your iTunes and your Google Podcasts and all of that. And check us out.
Yeah, if this is your first time here, go check out our past episodes. As always, hit us up. Let us know what you want to see, what you want us to talk about, all the good things, and have a good week. Stay safe. Safe. I couldn't say that word right.
Safe.
Stay soft. And be blessed.
Be blessed.
Be blessed.
Hey.
Bye.
Peace.